Welcome viewers, you are watching my YouTube channel BioHub and I am your facilitator Dr. Seema Sharma. Dear viewers, we are on chapter 8 and here we have to learn about one very interesting thing which is common between me, my pet Remo, these plants. You know what is that? Cell. We are going to learn about the basic unit with which we started our life, whether it's about animals or human beings or plants, that is cell. So join me, come on, let's know about this basic unit of life. Let's learn biology. This video is about part 1 of this chapter, and in this I have covered cell and the cell theory. This is the journal layout of this chapter. It is divisible into 6 parts. First, cell. In this segment, you will come to know about the discovery of cell and the cell theory. Second segment will give you an idea about unicellular and multicellular organisms. Third segment will give you a glimpse of diversity of cell as far as their shape and size is concerned. Fourth segment is about cell structure. And in this segment, you will come to know about the basic internal detail of the cell. Fifth segment is about differences between plant and animal cell. And the last segment is about growth and division in a mature cell. The learning objective of this video is first, the cell. Second, discovery of the cell. Third, microscope, its basic parts and their functioning. And fourth, the cell theory. This is what you are going to learn in this video. Are you ready, viewers? So stay tuned. Watch this video till the end. Let's explore about the introductory part of cell together. Ready? Okay, part 1, cell. Before proceeding with the scientific definition of this term cell, let's try to connect with this term with the help of our daily observation. This brick, you all have seen brick. These bricks, they are used in the construction purpose. Bricks, they make the brick wall, and these walls, they make the brick house. Brick is the smallest unit as far as construction of house is concerned, or the basic unit in the construction of house. In the same way, in all living organisms or in all living beings, cell, this is the smallest and basic unit of all living organisms. These cells, they combine together to form a group of cells, and these group of cells, they combine together to form further bigger units, and finally an organism or a living being, whether it's a human being, snail, tortoise, rabbit, or an ant. So now my viewers know, as is the brick in the construction of house, so is the importance of cell in the formation of any living being. So now let's know about it in little more detail. Cell. Cell is the smallest unit of life. This picture is showing us the basic structural organization of a cell. And this cell, it is the smallest unit of life. This term cell, which means small room, this is the basic structural, functional and biological unit of all living organisms. So the cells are often called as building blocks of life. So what is cell, viewers? The smallest basic unit of all life is cell. Living beings can be made up of one cell, like amoeba, and they can be made up of thousands of cells like fungi, algae, or they can be made up of trillions of cells like blue whale, elephant, human beings. They are made up of trillions of cells. Some facts about cell are cell size. Cell is the smallest unit of life, and the cell size, it is measured in micrometers. And 1 micrometer is equal to 1,000th of a millimeter. Now the study of cell, it is called cell biology, cellular biology or cytology. The scientists who study about cell and cell structure, they are called cell biologists or cytologists. Now coming to the interesting part, that is about the discovery of the cell. Children, way back in 17th century, there was a scientist, Robert Hooke. He discovered the cell for the first time in 1665. He had designed one instrument to observe very small things, or I must say microscopic things, and he was observing different type of microscopic things under his self-made crude microscope. When he observed a very thin slice of dead tissue or bark of cork plant, what he observed? He observed that there were compartment-like structures which was similar to rooms, and he termed those compartments as cell. So Robert Hooke coined the term cell for the first time. This was his crude microscope, children, which he has designed in 1663 and under which he has observed thin slice of bark of cork tree. And this was his observation, handmade drawing of that observation. So children, the cells which Robert Hooke has observed, they were empty compartments. There was no liquid part, there was no living content in that. They were from a dead plant tissue. When Robert Hooke was working in his lab, one more scientist was actively involved in observing microscopic organisms, and his name is Antony van Leeuwenhoek. So Leeuwenhoek, he was the first cell biologist to observe living organisms under his crude microscope. He observed a number of microscopic life forms like algae, bacteria, protozoa, and even multicellular organisms. So as far as our knowledge about cell and its structure is concerned, its basic foundation was laid by Robert Hooke and Leeuwenhoek. But even then there were inaccuracies, children, and there were reasons for those inaccuracies. First, even 150 years after their discovery, not much was known about the cell until improved microscopes with high magnification were developed, and thereafter use of certain colorful solutions called as stains or dyes, it was used for observing microscopic organisms. This was Hooke's microscope, which he has designed in 17th century, but now we have a broad range of a variety of microscopes to observe right from bacteria to viruses. This is a modern microscope which is generally used in diagnostic laboratories. In addition to use of modern microscopes, certain dyes, special colored solutions which are called stains, they are also used for microscopic observation, for clear observation of internal details of microscopic organisms. So as we have to learn about the internal structure of cell, so it is must for us to know about the microscope too. Part 3, microscope. You know, microscope is an optical instrument and it is used for observing microscopic objects, things, living organisms. It helps in magnifying the image of the object. So in this, lenses are used to make the smaller object appear larger. First, basic parts of a compound microscope. We are starting with the top part. First is eyepiece. There are 2 eyepieces in this compound microscope. They have ocular lenses in them. So these eyepieces, they have magnifying lenses in them for magnifying the image of the object. After eyepiece, there is head. Thereafter, there is an arm which is used as a carrying handle. Beneath eyepiece, there is nose piece, and they both are connected with each other with the help of head. This nose piece is also very important, children. Pay attention to these tubular structures. They are called as objective lenses. These objective lenses, they are of different magnifying parts and they help in magnifying the image of the object. This is the stage on which stage clips are there which help in fixing the slide on the stage properly. Pay attention to these knobs, coarse adjustment and fine adjustment. They help in focusing. By simply rotating these, we can get a clear image. Base. In the base, there is a illuminator. Now beneath stage, there is one more circular disc-like structure, and that is called as diaphragm and condenser. Two things are there for increasing or decreasing the source of light. So these are the basic parts. So now let's learn little more about what is slide, what is specimen, how they look. So children, specimen, it is the object which we want to view under the microscope. So this object is called as specimen. These are permanent laboratory slide in which that object is permanently fixed. This slide, which is containing the specimen, it is kept on the stage, and by rotating the coarse and fine adjustment knobs, we can view the clear image of the object. It will be somewhat similar to this depending upon the type of object you are observing. And to know a little more about the actual practical utility of microscope, let's watch this visual clip.
Let's go back to the lab to know little more about practical application of the microscope. Here we have a number of special instruments and controlled laboratory environment to observe and study about different types of microscopic organisms. And one such equipment is this. It's a compound microscope. Let's know about its basic parts. First, top part. Here you can see there are two eyepieces through which we view the microscopic object. These eyepieces have magnifying lenses. Below the eyepiece, it has nose piece. In the nose piece, there are 4 objective lenses of varying magnifying powers for further enlargement of the image of the object. Next, we have stage. Specimen is kept on the glass slide on the stage. Let's have a look at one prepared slide. This is a glass slide on which we keep the microscopic object in 1 drop of water or colored solution and observe it by placing it on the stage and adjusting the light. As you can see, source of light is present at the base of the microscope to illuminate the specimen for better observation. While observing the specimen, we view from here through these eyepieces. Initially, the enlarged image of the specimen may appear blurred, so focusing is done with the help of these knobs for finer adjustment to observe the specimen with clarity. And believe me, once you get the focus right, you have a breathtaking sight. So this was about compound microscope and its parts and their basic functions in brief.
So I'm sure now the basic structure and functioning of microscope will be clear to all my viewers. So next segment is part 4, the cell theory. The cell theory, it is a joint effort of 2 scientists in almost same year, 1838. One was a botanist and another was a zoologist. Their names are Shielding and Schramm. Basic postulates of this cell theory are: number 1, all living things are made up of cells. Hence, cells are the basic building block of living organisms. Second postulate was, all cells are similar in their basic structure and function, but they are not identical. स्ट्रक्चर फंक्शन में सिमिलर हैं, बट देखने में दे में वेरी, उनका शेप में वेरी, साइज में वेरी. थर्ड पोस्टुलेट वाज, न्यू सेल्स आर फॉर्म ड्यू टू डिवीजन इन ओल्ड सेल्स. फोर्थ पोस्टुलेट वाज, the organization of the cell in the body of a living organism, it determines its structure. Fifth postulate, the way an organism functions, it depends on the way the cell works. So these are the 5 postulates of the cell theory, which were given jointly by two German cell biologists, Schilden and Swan. This theory was universally accepted by most of the cell biologists. After their cell theory, there was a spontaneous increase in knowledge about cell, its structure, its internal details, and their basic functions by a number of other scientists. But the credit for the discovery of cell, it goes to these 5 cell biologists: Robert Hooke for observing the cell structure for the first time from dead tissue, Leeuwenhoek for observing the living cells, Schilden and Swan for coming up with this universally accepted cell theory about living organisms, and Rudolf Virchow, the 5th scientist. He proposed that all cells, they come from pre-existing cells. So that's it for this video. Now it's time to share some important questions so that you can go for self-assessment. I suggest you to go through these questions. They will help you to judge your understanding about this introductory part of chapter. And next time, whenever you will tune into my YouTube channel BioHub, I'm going to upload part 2 of chapter 8, cell structure and function. And in that, I'm going to cover structural and functional organization of cell. This is also very interesting subtopic of this chapter to explore about. So I want you to join me there also. Now it's time to wind up this video. I want to thank all my viewers for supporting my YouTube channel BioHub, subscribing to it and liking the content of my videos. If you are a new viewer and you are finding this interesting and easy to understand, then please do subscribe to it. And viewers, please don't forget to share your observation in the comment section. Your observation in the comment section will help me to refine the content and make it more and more viewer friendly. So viewers, please वीडियो अगर पसंद आया है तो उसको लाइक करना, शेयर करना और सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलना. With this, I'm signing out. It's a bio vibe from your facilitator, Dr. Seema Sharma. But stay tuned to my BioHub and keep exploring about biology with me. Do take good care of yourself. Bye.